Alright, this is the Value Funnel Blueprint, the free training that you opted in for. It's an approach to building sales funnels where you focus on providing as much value as possible. And the goal of this free training is to teach you to double your profits and get your students better results than ever before without needing to change what you sell or doing complex marketing. And if you decide to work with us in the future, we'll implement this system for you and do it completely free until we double your profits. Last time we covered the offer module, and now we're going to be covering the message module. We'll be talking about getting leads, your persona and message, and how to sell anything to anyone. Let's get straight into it. And leads are just the people that you deliver your message to. And you should always aim to get better leads, cheaper leads, and more leads in that order. Maximize the quality of your leads, better leads, get them cheaper, and then once you've maximized that, then you can try to get more leads. Right? And these are some of the ways you can get better, cheaper, and more leads. But in the middle, these are the ones that get by far the best results when you invest in them. So that's content, referrals, email marketing, and landing pages work really well as well. And out of all of those, referrals are by far the most powerful, because if your product itself does not provide value, then you won't get referrals. If you don't get referrals, then your business, it's like trying to row against the stream. It's incredibly difficult and your business basically cannot grow. That is why it's so important that you maximize the value you're giving to increase positive word of mouth and get those referrals. And when you do get referrals, your business, it'll feel like you're going downstream instead of upstream, and everything will just be so much faster. Everything will be accelerated. You'll get results so much better, so much faster, so much cheaper. And there are really two main categories of getting leads. Way number one is getting leads yourself, where you get the leads, and that's things like cold outreach, automated outreach, you're cold calling people, or you're networking. That's not as effective as getting lead getters. And this way you can get exponentially more leads, because your leads get leads, and your leads get more leads, and your leads get more leads. And that is essentially what referrals are. When you get customers, customers tell more customers, and those customers tell more customers, and your profits just grow exponentially. You're making insane amounts of money if you just get referrals right. If you just provide insane value and get that positive word of mouth, you'll get customers tell more customers, tell more customers, tell more customers, and your profits will skyrocket. Other types of lead getters can be affiliates that get you leads, or agencies that help you get more leads, and those can work really well as well. But out of all of them, referrals are the most powerful by far, and that's why you need to optimize your value. You need to give insane amounts of value. And in your business, you are the most important part, because you give the value, and you are valuable yourself because your story is attached to the product. Your personality, your persona is associated with the product, and your leads are first drawn to your personality. That's what people are drawn to first, and then they're drawn to your story, and then they're drawn to your message, and they're finally drawn to your product. It goes in that order. So you need to make sure that your persona is attractive, that you're charismatic. And I know that some people aren't naturally charismatic, and they try to be, and that just comes off as fake. You just have to try and be yourself. I know it's overused, but that's just what you got to do. And kind of the persona you want to have is, you want to be an expert on this topic that has gone through everything, had the same problems that your ideal customer is having, that's been through everything your ideal customer has and understands their pain points, and you have achieved the dream state of your ideal customers. And you, throughout your journey, you need to have discovered a new opportunity. And even if it's not really that new, you have to present it as new because the novelty adds value. And you also have to have a vision for a better future. And I know it sounds grandiose, but it provides value in a way that it makes your customers, your followers, feel like a part of something bigger. And that is just really valuable to them. And you also have a message that's a little bit controversial that creates both fans and critics. And the reason you want critics is because your fans feel like you have a common enemy, so they bond more together, if you know what I'm saying. They feel part of a group. They feel accepted in a group. They have a group identity, and that is valuable to them, right? And next, like here, Andrew Tate, he was the perfect example of crafting a controversial message between what is mainstream, which is boring, nobody wants to follow that because you're just saying what everybody else says, between that and being crazy where nobody is going to listen to him. He finds a perfect middle ground, and that's why he has so many loyal followers as well as so many critics. And again, he had a vision for a better future for his followers, and that is, he imagined and communicated a world where his followers were free from the matrix and they could have location freedom, time freedom, and do whatever they wanted. Next, we're going to cover the selling framework that I've used for every single piece of copy that I've ever written. And this can be used for content, via sales, emails, sales pages, you name it. It works for anything, and it's just the best. No other way to describe it, and it's super simple. You're probably thinking, this is just persuasion. How is this providing value? When in reality, you're actually doing them a huge favor. You are motivating them to change their lives. And that is why you need to have massive conviction in what you sell. You need to be 100% certain that if they buy this course, if they sign up for your training, that you can actually improve their lives. And that comes from providing incredible, insane, huge amounts of value. Okay, let's get straight to this selling system, this framework. Number one is the hook. And what you want to do with the hook, well, it's a hook, you get their attention, but you want to make a big promise and a controversial idea. And even I use the same framework. The controversial idea in a lot of my copy or a lot of my content, even though I'm not very good at filming content, I'm good at writing, but the controversial idea that I used, even if you don't have one, you can kind of make it. And what it is, for me at least, is that you should stop persuading people to buy. And the big promise would be that I can help you double your profits with no money up front, right? And the next thing is the problem. You want your customers to know that you understand their problem better than anybody else. And the best way to do that is to tell stories. You can tell a story about how you realized you had this problem, how you were in this situation, and you had this problem, the same problem as them, and you were going through it and you were very frustrated, doing this, doing that, nothing was working, and then there was suddenly a moment where you couldn't take it anymore and you switched to this new system, this solution, your solution that you're about to present, that changed everything, that fixed everything, that finally let them achieve their dream life, right? And that's just a story about how you realized it. You can also tell a story about how a customer exactly in the same shoes as them realized it, and it'll just make them feel understood. And here the problem, you can also, it's not just about the problem they have right now. You can also talk about the problems they have with the competitors. Maybe they bought a lot of courses in the past and none of them worked. That's where you settle the objections here. Maybe they tried many other business models, but none of them worked, and you have to show them why this business model is better than any other. Next, you have to agitate the problem. You want to justify their past failure. Like, for example, you could say, I know you've bought multiple courses, tried many different business models, and failed at all of them. Maybe you're thinking about quitting. Maybe you think this thing is not for you. But it wasn't your fault that you failed all those times. That was because everybody is telling you to do this, to do that, and they were all wrong. And then you come in with your unique offer. Maybe you're like, they all told you what to do. They gave you the frameworks that soon became outdated. But here we teach you the principles behind everything, so you can make your own decisions. You can create your own process, and we teach you everything to help you create your own process instead of just telling you what to do, right? And then next, you can confirm their suspicions, which is similar to justify past failures. You can be like, I know sometimes you feel like the system is against you. People are purposely, when you're reaching out, they purposely ignore your messages. Like, how can I send 100,000 messages and still get no responses? That's a bit of an exaggeration. I don't know anybody who has sent 100,000 outreaches. Let's say 10,000. You're probably thinking there must be something that you don't understand, something that other people do that you don't. And you're right, because there is. And then you can go on to the next step to reassure them of the solution. And you can say something like, yeah, I know how that might feel. I've been in the exact same spot, but I was able to get out of it when I discovered this solution. And then you paint the picture of their dreams. And once I got out of this situation, I was able to buy a Ferrari, I was able to buy a Rolex, I was able to gain complete freedom over my life, retire my parents, whatever, whatever. And then you go on to the next step where you present your solution. And once again, at the beginning, you present your controversial idea to get them hooked, because this might be the most important part. And you say how your solution is better than all of your competitors, and better than all of your competitors, and how it's different from all of the other things they tried, and all of the other things that's caused multiple failures for them, the other things that never work that they spend thousands of dollars on. And then you can go through your story about how you discovered this problem, the problems you were having, and how this solution solved all of them for you. And you also talk about how it worked for other customers. You can provide social proof, tell a story about another customer who had the same problem as them, who went through everything they did, and then they implemented this solution, your solution, and it completely changed their lives, and got them everything they wanted. And then you paint the picture of their dream world again. As you can see, there's a bit of repetition in here. There's layers and layers and layers of the same thing, because that's what works. And you paint the picture of their dream world, making it more intense than ever before. And you show them how this one decision could change their lives, but they will still have objections, and that is what the next section is on. You need to shatter their core beliefs, the beliefs that are holding them back, like we covered way back in the market module, I believe, the core beliefs that are like maybe they think the agency space is oversaturated, and you can tell them no, it's not. And then you can prove it with a story. Like, for example, Mike was in the same situation as you. He came to me, he said, I have tried hundreds of different niches in the agency space. I've outreached to home improvements, to med spas, to influencers. I've tried growth operating. I've tried software as a service. I've tried this agency model, that agency model. Nothing works for me. Agencies are dead, it's oversaturated, and you can tell the story of how you helped him realize that it wasn't the niche, it wasn't whatever problem he was having, but this one that your solution solves. He was having this problem that your solution solves. And when he implemented your solution, it changed everything, got him to his dream world, and then you make the dream more intense again and again and again. And that's what you just want to keep doing, making the dream more intense, more intense, more intense, and making his current situation more painful, more painful, more painful. And that's how you get them to buy. It's almost as simple as that. And then you can provide more social proof, more stories, or a bunch of testimonials that show up on screen, and you can answer some frequently asked questions, like maybe in your presentation or your VSL, it can be like, I know you're thinking blah blah blah, but in reality, it's just the common objections that you've had on your sales calls. You can record all of those objections and put them in your sales letter or your website, or your funnel or your emails or anything like that, and you just answer all of those objections one by one by one by one, disguised as questions, and your customers feel like you're reading their mind, because you just took all of the questions that actual customers had. And then finally, you want to end with a strong call to action, because if you don't, everything you've done just before this, that's gone to waste. And the thing is, you want to leave curiosity. You want to show them what your solution can do for them, but you don't want to tell them how your solution does it. You want to leave some curiosity where they still want to take the next step to find out. And then at the end, you want to present your offer with bonuses, guarantee, scarcity, and urgency. Everything we covered back in the offer fund. And in this selling formula, we talked a lot about stories, how stories can be a powerful way to present your solution, agitate their problem, make their problem more painful, and present their dream, make their dream more intense, make their problems more painful, right? And this is the structure you want to use. And this, you might have seen this in your ELA class or something like that. This is like something actually useful that I learned in my ELA class. Right here, this is Joseph Campbell. He is the author of The Hero's Journey, the inventor of this framework almost. Here is The Hero's Journey. You can pause it, look at it, or do some of your own research, but this is basically what it is. Probably learned it in your ELA class, so I'm not going to cover it that deeply. And there are basically three main objections you need to cover in every piece of selling you do, every piece of copy you do. Number one is the objection on the thing. Maybe they think it won't work, it's too expensive, competitors' things are better, and you need to do research before all of this and understand how you actually are better than your competitors, how your thing is worth the price, and prove that it will work. And number two is an objection about themselves. Maybe they think they need to have experience, they need to have money to start, maybe they're too young or they're too old, and you need Like the example I told you, you need a story or something else to shatter their core belief that is holding them back. And number three, the third objection, is sacrifice. They think it's not worth the time, maybe it's not worth the money, it's not worth the effort. And what you need to do to overcome that objection is you need to make their problem more painful, more painful, more painful, and make their dream outcome more desirable, more desirable, more intense until they are pushed to make the decision. And that is the ultimate selling formula. And that is it for the module. And next time we'll cover the funnel module and give you some examples of successful funnels. But for now, that will be everything. And once again, if you decide to work with us in the future, we can guarantee to double your profits with our value funnel blueprint for $0. We'll do it completely for free until you double your profits. That's it for now.